Hi, I'm Emily Hill, co-founder and CEO of Geiston. We are experts in producing quality software builds at speed for large and growing businesses.
Hi, I'm Nicola Sainer. I'm the CEO at Chorus IT and Cybersecurity.
I'm Elsa Billington. I'm Managing Director at Procter & Stevenson, and we are a creative and digital marketing agency based in Bristol.
Hi, I'm Sophie Crease, one of the co-founders at HeyFlow. At HeyFlow, we help organisations improve their female talent lifecycle, removing the bottlenecks and critical points that impact so many women's careers.
Hi, I'm Claire Elford. I am CEO of Clue. We build software that helps organisations to investigate and prevent things like fraud, organised crime and corruption.
Hi, I'm Dunia. I'm CEO of Illumina Digital, and we help SMEs to stop drowning in complex spreadsheets, multiple SaaS tools or legacy systems, and create a single source of truth through our platform, Illumo.
Hi, I'm Laura Gemmell. I'm the founder of Taught by Humans. We help companies turn their knowledge and files into useful, accessible, personalised learning.
Hi, I'm Susie, People Operations Manager at Kets Quantum Security. We build and deliver chip-based quantum security solutions.
Hi, I'm Jess Middlemiss, CTO of Pure Affinity, and we make products that remove harmful forever chemicals called PFAS from water.
It's incredibly easy in business to make assumptions, and we were definitely guilty of this when we first set up HeyFlow and learnt the hard way. In our early days, we'd often make design decisions or product decisions based on what we thought was really obvious, but actually it didn't necessarily land with our customer or our end user. So now we try and gather a much broader perspective of what goes beyond kind of our beliefs and our thoughts, and really thinks about a diverse perspective across the board for why people would use our products and our services. I also see this a lot around assumptions within my work with clients at HeyFlow, where often businesses will make assumptions as to what individuals in their company want and need without really having any proof points or any real data, being very much led by trends rather than actual kind of decision making within their organisation. So I would say assumptions and ensuring that we don't, when we're building products, base our design decisions on assumptions, and we are more data-led and more perspective-led.
When a female team member stepped into a senior delivery role, she brought a completely different lens on our challenges. So the team was really excited generally about exploring cutting-edge tech, and they lent into that. But she instead focused on the day-to-day friction in our processes, and she mapped out some tools that we could build to improve consistency and to reduce repetitive work. And it really struck me how she had seen those opportunities that the existing team hadn't noticed, or maybe hadn't felt were important or exciting enough. We're still implementing those ideas, but even that shift in perspective has changed how I think about the opportunities on the team. And it's a really good reminder that innovation isn't always about what's new and exciting. Sometimes the most valuable insights come when someone sees the everyday challenges that we have differently.
I think actively advocating for women in your team is really important, and looking out for those women who show potential and talking to them to find out their aspirations and see where they want to go in their career, and then give them exposure so that they can accelerate and enhance their skills and experience. Because in my experience, women are less likely to put themselves forward, put themselves out there. So if we can build the confidence through exposure and mentorship and sponsorship, then we're going to automatically increase the levels of women in tech leadership.
To get more women into leadership roles, I think organisations need to focus on building confidence in women. One of the things I've seen throughout my career is that men are much better at talking themselves up. It seems more natural, and as women we're kind of taught to be a little quieter and fade into the background and just do a good job and expect people to find out about the good job we've done themselves, and that isn't actually how promotions and things work in a lot of tech companies. So providing leadership and mentorship into how women can be more confident, and actually teaching managers to notice this and to big up the women in the company themselves, I think is how we get more women into leadership.
I think it's really important that organisations think about how to advance women in tech leadership. One of the things that I think is the most important is to really invest in the development and retention of women in the workforce. It's true still that the majority of caring responsibilities are taken on by women, and that might be children, but it might equally be a sick relative or someone elderly that they're caring for. And they have to make really difficult decisions sometimes about whether to lean in to do that caring role or to have a career. And it's really wonderful when organisations can enable both, whether that's through flexible working or part-time working or enabling career breaks. And I just think if you can give people that choice, it means that they can stay current in what is a very fast-moving tech industry, and they won't come to the end of that caring responsibility or a reduction in that caring responsibility, feeling like they're not current anymore and that they can't enter the workforce again. So flexibility is really key, and investing in their development too.
The most important thing that organisations can do to advance women in tech leadership is to really look at the point in women's careers where this gulf starts to emerge between men and women, particularly in the tech industry. And that period is mid-career. So instead of relying on the numbers of women reaching senior leadership or looking at how to parachute women into those roles, it's really important that organisations dig deep into what are the stalling factors that are happening to women in your organisation during these very common moments that stall women's careers. So the cumulative impact of things like pregnancy, of return to work, of maternity, the subtle impacts around promotion cycles because of that period of time is absolutely huge, and it plays a leading role in women's careers, stalling and therefore not then gaining that momentum in later career. So really dig deep into those areas to understand what's happening in your organisation that is impacting that mid-career point. And if you get that right, it makes it much easier to be able to retain and advance women into tech leadership.
I believe inclusion and advocacy needs to be everybody's responsibility, not just HR's, and organisations should build that flexibility into roles to adapt to people's needs and actively sponsor women into those leadership opportunities. Women are incredibly agile, we multitask, we context switch, we adapt, and that agility and adaptability is such a strength for tech leadership, but we have to pair that with visibility, because talent alone isn't enough if nobody sees it, and it's also not enough for organisations to say they support women in tech and not actually do anything about it. It's actually about how you work every day, in your meetings, in your project decisions, in your mentorship, in your recruitment. When companies embed that inclusion into daily practice, into how they work, that's when the creativity and perspectives that could have been overlooked are unlocked, and that diversity is really essential as we move forward.
One big opportunity and tragedy that I see is really capable technical women being channeled into sort of softer roles because they have strong organisational skills. I think we're robbing our technical teams of diverse perspectives when we do that. I've found that women often underestimate their technical abilities. They can be less confident despite being equally capable, and I think as organisations we need to think actively about that. If we want to retain women in the more technical roles, perhaps it's through intentional mentorship and sponsorship, or just explicitly valuing diverse thinking in the technical roles rather than looking for cookie cutter role models. I think we need to ensure diverse voices are heard at every level and in every role, and I think there's a real opportunity for women in technical leadership if we create that opportunity for them.
First of all, it'd be fostering talent, really recognising the talent that you have within the business, not assuming that you know what people are wanting, but actually having the conversations in your one-to-ones, within meetings, listening, finding out what is it that motivates and inspires, and having those conversations about how they want to get there, what do they want to be doing, and really looking at flexibility of how you can support the talent that you've got to do that. Also, when doing advertising for new roles, for new jobs, making sure that adverts and work that you're putting out on social media is appropriate for different genders, different diversities.
So 10 years ago when I joined Clue, there were 5 of us, and today we have close to 100 people on the team. So back in the early days, I did a bit of everything. So I was very closely involved in building the product, working closely with customers, doing the finances, a bit of everything. Over the years, I have hired people who can do those things way better than me. So my job has evolved from doing the doing to really setting the direction and building a world-class team. So that evolution has taken a real mindset shift over the years.
That one's easy for me. It's just always saying yes more than no. If you don't know how to do something, say you know how to do it and find out how to do it, and that's how you grow and learn.
The skill I've had to learn most, which has been most helpful as a founder, is being more confident and being kinder to myself. In the early days of running this business, I was really harsh on everything I did, and I faded into the background, not necessarily leaning into the fact that I actually am an expert in my field and I'm showing up every day and doing a good job. So learning how to be kind and understand that I am doing a good job even if it doesn't feel like it's going fast enough, and learning when to speak up for myself and be a bit more confident has really helped me in my founder journey.
I think the most critical mindset shift that I had in my journey to leadership was understanding that it wasn't just my technical skills that were important or valuable. And actually, my project management and organisational skills, and in particular my people skills, like empathy and listening to people, were absolutely crucial in being able to lead teams of technical people. And that's what brings me true joy in my career, is that mixture of solving a technical problem with my team, but also everybody feeling fulfilled whilst we meet those goals.
For me, it's being curious, always being really curious about the next thing, what else, what can do differently, what else is an option. Saying yes to things, saying yes to the problems that other people weren't saying yes to because possibly didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it, but by saying yes, it meant that it got me more involved in more meetings, it got me into different discussions. It really opened up a lot of doors for me. And at that point, you can kind of decide, do you step up or do you step aside? So being curious and saying yes.
Having a gender diverse team has been really helpful in terms of having different approaches to the various client problems that come up. I think, having input from people across the board of all genders has been really valuable. It means that we've got, input from everywhere. Doesn't mean that one particular approach is right, but it really gives us that broader perspective.
Chorus, being a tech business, has been male dominated. As the tech industry is. We've worked very hard over many years to try and bring out more gender balance, and we're really proud now to have a female in every department, many female leaders, and our executive team is a nice balance between male and females. This has brought a lot of improvements to the business. One of the main ones that diversity really brings is innovation. By having different people, different backgrounds, it brings different suggestions and ideas to the table, really helps us to be forward-thinking and an innovative business.